My fellow tickers, welcome to Tick Propaganda Podcast, Season 13, Session 2. This week means that I'm doing my second podcast in a row, which is quite an achievement for me, judging my last few podcasts. So, we will do it. By we, I mean myself and Michael. There'll be no one joining me this week because I am too lazy to do it, and I'm not going to wait till tomorrow, and then today is Thursday, and we got some juicy development in the Treaties channel. And so we're just going to dive into it today. It's just going to be me. It's not going to be live streamed either because, again, working from home, coronavirus, and my wife will probably be taking some phone calls as well during this podcast, so we'll make the best out of it. I'll probably have to mute my mic and then show you some cool pictures in the meantime. Anyways, so as always, we're going to start our podcast with England. Before we do that, here's a picture of Michael. He's awesome. And diving right into the game. So, we're going to start with England. So, England has been player controlled the entire time. I actually haven't looked at the statistics for England, but judging from their income, England is actually where is it? England on the income comparison. England is up there with 143. I don't know why I thought otherwise. So England is making quite a lot of money. I'm not sure how much money that is for 1544. I personally think it should be a lot more. But I guess because of our mod and the 20% trade reduction and 20% manufacturer reduction, this is quite fine. So, England, how are we doing? So, England has all the tech necessary to upgrade. He's saving his points as much as possible. Gonna get the 5% neighbors bonus because somebody already took it. I don't know who it is or who it was. Mission-wise, oh, this is a strong one. Actually, interesting why England hasn't done that. Let's see how we're doing on the manufactories. So, production. Could use a little bit more love. Manufactories. Okay. Pretty well built out. So, England did everything correctly and built out England. I really think that he could use this now, and this will help him, like right now, generate more money, and the more money you generate now will help you, later stage. So if you make money now, you can reinvest it much earlier on than saving it for later for just a little buff. So I would probably pop the mission right now. Anyways, how are we doing on the colonial reign? So England, last time we were looking, he was really pushing into Africa, and he's got all of this explored, but he hasn't really started colonizing Asia. And most of Asia is actually helped by Portugal, but Batua is occupying it, and we will get that to a little bit later. I actually wonder what the relationship of England and the African nations is, because really a lot of this land is very, very juicy. And I mean, England is going to control the majority of the trade flowing out of Africa and Asia, and I think the Spanish and the Portuguese really messed up. England did the dirty, and he really controls everything. So if we're going to say that majority of the trade does flow through, and an amazing majority, 57%, even more, will flow towards the English Channel. So Portugal and Spain, unless they do something militarily, their money, if they do go into Asia, will be severely cut. So at this point, like, Portugal is fighting this war, but this war doesn't really matter if all the trade is going to actually flow to England, because they missed an important step of securing this part right over here. Let's see. 13 colonies. Okay, 13 colonies are doing okay. Are they actually getting any financial support? No, they're not. So 30 colonies isn't getting any financial support. They're making, okay, so they're making some ducats there. Are they actually colonizing? I mean, no, they're not. No, they really aren't. Um, One thing I would do here is is if I were England, I would help them expand a lot more. Land some troops here, expand into here, eat this as well for the 13 colonies. Eat this. Is that actually in their uh, what is it? Colonial and trade regions? Yeah, colonial Eastern America. So they can definitely eat all of that. And I'm not sure why they haven't done it yet. So this is a really really good land for 13 colonies to have. 13 colonies should be a very strong colony. I guess it's really going to generate a lot of money mid to late game for the British. So this is kind of I think a misplay by 1544. All these Indians should be part of the 13 colonies, and 13 colonies should be a little bit stronger. I would also make because okay, so he's colonizing there, so he's going for one more colony. Probably putting another colony here and implementing these guys. Colonial trade regions. Getting these guys under Canada. So you'll basically get another merchant. And getting another merchant for England is kind of nice because a lot of this trade. This is also a misplay right over here. This one should be going here. And this one will go. Oh. Okay. It's being pulled forward. But if you move this here, majority of this one. Of this will be pulled forward once you take all of these lands, and that's going to create another 1, 2, 3 jumps for your trade goods, which will increase their value. I can't give you the percentage right now. I completely forgot them. I think Feldspite knows, so if anyone does want to go into the micro of the trade, I would ask Feldspite. He's an expert on that. Okay, so he also has lands here, little islands here, Spain. Okay, so a little bit focus on that. So I'm not really sure where 100% of the British, I guess the investments are in Africa. And this is part of the colonial companies. How is he doing colonial companies? Let me real quick. Okay, yeah. Charter companies doing nice. I would actually probably also start building a little bit of stuff here as well. Can he actually manufacture? Okay, he's got one manufacturing. Not having the tech, so this is fine. I'm not sure if he really wants to put more, even keep the forts there, for example, or push more into Africa. I think just having these ports is enough because in case of a war like between Portugal and Spain, you really don't want to have too much land here. You kind of want to control the seas. So having like such islands as this is good because you might end up occupied as Portugal. So interesting move. So overall, England's doing great. If he takes next tech for admin and Diplo, he's going to get a 20% bonus, such as this. So you get the ahead of time bonus. So I think his production should increase ahead of time and admin tech. There you go. So he gets the 20% bonus on production. So this income, as you see, did go up. So now he's making more ducats. The English fleet is and lag. Oh my god. Wow. Yeah, so that happens sometimes. I think you need new computer. So he's got a lot of heavies. Wow, almost 40 heavies. And he's got... What is he doing? He's hunting pirates. Who is privateering in the English Channel? Okay. France is privateering just a little bit. I guess that's for power projection, so that's a good move overall. England this game does not have control of Lubeck, so majority of the trade from the Lubeck and Germany will not be flowing into the English Channel. So it's going to be quite limited, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So England doing okay. We'll see where it goes. Quality exploration offensive. National manpower, ship heavy combat ability. I wonder what tech he's going to take next. Perhaps he's going to take expansion for more morale. But that will also be good for England. But we'll see what he does. I actually haven't done any diplomacy with England, so I cannot tell you exactly what he's going to do. 1 second. So we also have Burgundy, but Burgundy was sadly AI controlled for the majority of last session. So he's not in the best shape. I think we're going to safe fix him just a little bit. 13 loans, it's very interesting to see why he did that. It's a lot of loans. States are not done at all, but whatever. I messed up on that. As you hear in the background, my wife is talking. So listen to that a little bit. Eavesdropping. He can take this. So also going so ahead of time. Wow. He really went ahead of time on this, and he actually didn't dev any of his land. So this was a huge and actually huge mistake, especially that he finished economic ideas and he has the development cost reduction. Oh my god, cloth provinces, encourage development. Yeah, he could have really devved all of this, and this was a really big mistake. Also, one thing that I see as Burgundy in my eyes made a mistake, and he went the parliamentarism system. I'm not sure what he's gonna do exactly, but he really should form the Dutch nation and do that, because you get a great amount of different missions. But you should do it only after all of this. He can definitely build more, but from what I understand, like for this, he's fully built here. So what he needs to do, and guys, in situations like this, we can see that there's no manufacturing being built here, and if we do this and actually dev it, okay, div 200, right? Dev this to 20, we'll be able to build a manufactory here, and it's going to be being as 34 ducats. So all of this lands that he has, that he spent on getting so far ahead of tech, it's pretty ridiculous. He should have spent on deving this up, so you have more manufactories to build. Okay, size of an army, not the biggest. A lot of artillery, so it's an engagement army. I'm not sure how strong his partnership is with France, but that's a pretty strong army. He really needs to integrate Holland. Holland has been integrated, and it could be right now, but for some reason he's not doing it. So yeah, I'll give him that the player wasn't there for the entire session, but I feel like if you have control of the country for like an hour or so, you should have been able to fix that and not take like this. Like you can just spend those mana points on just better things, but very unfortunate. What else do we have? We have production. Okay. All right. Yeah, so this is a little disappointing. Also, a lot of forts. I'm not sure what the situation is, but there's no point of having a farmland fort for so long. Okay, these forts are okay. This is like this and this. I'm not really sure about the layout. He's very covered, but there's no point of having a grassland fort as well. Thing that I did forget to talk about, and I will talk right now, is he decided on government reforms to go parliamentarism. I actually don't like that. I like general estates or going states general. What the states general does is that he gives you a choice of to have elections, and every few years you can have either one monarch that will you basically get a choice between two monarchs. One monarch, if on a scale they're more I think statists, they get a re-election every 4 years, or if they're more monarchist, they basically get it for the rest of until they die. But but you can re-elect every 4 years if you go more to statists, and then if you find the right candidate, you can keep them by going more into the monarch side. So I like that choice a lot more than actually parliamentism. It's not as effective in my book. The bonuses aren't as huge. Like if we go back to where is it? Like the bonuses. I mean, okay, you get your king, by the way, but the debates are not as good in my book as the modifiers you can actually get from having a States General, which is just having a more of selection about your kings and rulers. Plus, when they die, you don't lose stability, which is kind of nice. Anyways, go to France. So Burgundy, lots of mistakes in my book. A lot of mismanagement of estates, mismanagement of points, and debt. I can't believe that the AI caused all of that. So he probably took loans to build stuff. France. So France actually, surprisingly, has the highest amount of not army tradition, but professionalism in the game. Discipline is kind of low because the ideas he took, he went defensive, economic, and quality. So France is already behind on economic and quality ideas. He should have been finished by this time, especially that France hasn't really expanded outside of the national borders, besides going to here just a little bit, but still it's not that much. Спасибо большое. My wife gave me an apple. Good. Fort line. Really trust Burgundy. No forts here, but I mean, in peacetime, I wouldn't be paying for these forts, especially if your economy isn't the greatest. How are we doing on the? Like, I guess states are a little bit mismanaged, but overall, pretty bad manpower recovery, but also because of nobility, it's kind of low. Force limit is meh. Behind on tech. So, I think the next mill idea. Land is really very well developed. Econ's not finished, and also offensive war to Spain, which was a complete success. Expanded to the fort line, which is okay, I guess. But other than that, not really following my advice of collecting in one place. If I actually, so in this situation, what you want to do is you want to collect here, because this is your. You want to collect here, you want to collect here, and you want to collect here, because he's transferring 12.58 ducats this way, and then majority of the trade is being collected to Venice, unless like Venice is giving him money. Oh, he is getting money from Venice, but it's not that much. He could have been making more money if he actually collected here. Collect here, here, and here. He will be making more money than with Venice. So especially that if you upgrade the ports here, this really doesn't flow too much outside. Ask. I guess Switzerland is pulling some trade, but I can kill Switzerland. You gotta kill all the miners, because the miners steer a lot of trade away. It's not very nice. All right. So I was eating an apple. Sorry, guys. Anyways, so here, as we saw that France actually had pretty bad rulers, and in situations like that, what you do um, to avoid that, you want to actually get the States General instead of whatever he had. I think he had like this or something. I don't care. Um, and what that does is that your guy will be reelected in 4 years, and you can change your queen, and you'll have a choice between two rulers. So this is shit. So in my book, what France really did bad is that he is drilling, and you really don't want to drill this early. Uh, that much. He has a lot of drill. He should lower the maintenance and actually build his country. I have a feeling his country isn't very well built. I actually haven't checked. So production facilities are built. Nice. Temples are built. Trade could be a little bit more. Manufactories completely unbuilt. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 manufactories built, which is absolutely nothing, as we saw compared to England. Even compared to Burgundy, who was an AI, and this is France. This is very rich lands. He should be making a lot of money, but he's not because he doesn't have the manufacturing, and he's spending a lot of money on drilling, which is stupid. Because this you can fill out pretty easily later on, without actually having to drill that much, or you can drill later on whenever your economy is fully built. So with France, he also needs to, like for example, right here, he needs to develop a lot of lands. And actually, let me see, does he have a lot of so like needs to build something in all these lands like Angers, Paris. He can build a manufacturing. And for example, if we delete this church and build a manufacturing, and does it actually tag or cash 500? Can we actually build something in Paris? Nope, that was a bad example. Oh, this can do it. Yeah, we can build it here. We can do this also 33 ducats. So there's quite a lot of provinces where he can build up. He can dev it up. This goes for everybody to really min-max, but I have a feeling a lot of people actually want to do that. And he can build a manufactory for 31. And in theory, you should really build those manufactories because we have maybe 150, 200 years left in the game. So the manufacturers, first of all, will boost your trade, they will boost your production, and in the end, they're going to just make more money for you that you're going to get, for 100, 150 years. So it's a really good investment for in my opinion, which people aren't really doing. So I would just stop drilling, to be honest. Okay, good policies. Anyways, let's go to Spain. So Spain, maybe add a little bit of music to this, huh? Get a little music going here for you guys. Ooh, smooth jazz. So Spain, how are we doing? So Spain lost the war. He has absolutely no manpower. Is his peace over with? No, it's going to be over in June. So I wonder what they're going to do here, if they will have peace or not. In my opinion, from what I understand from diplomacy that was happening this week, there will not be peace in France, and Venice will go into Spain again. So I hope he can hold them off. He does have his age bonus, so he's going to be really strong. Not enough prestige. He also did pop his mission. His morale is really ridiculous, so kind of nice. That's a lot of morale. I'm gonna say this more than France's. No. France is doing it. You got Saints prayers, army tradition is high, military drill, Elan, golden age. Okay, so that's a lot of morale. Why is Spain? Yeah, because prestige is kind of low. Well, that's unfortunate. He just needs to. He's really close to finishing quality though. So my question is, why did he take this idea If he could have waited, uh, you know, took it a little bit later, uh, with discount of -5%, save some points, and then could have taken a quality 80 as well. I think it's stupid. He also needs to switch one of these out to save some points for quality. Probably for right now, get this one, get 5%, because 5% discount, it's really a lot, and things like that really add up. So I think it's a mistake that he took Tech 12. I don't know what he's showing to anyone. He's just giving, Britain a discount. France, I don't know. I think France took it first. I don't know which one of them took it first. Venice a discount, for example. Ottomans a discount, and everyone else for being ahead of Tech. So he had the Reconquista. But I think in general, that's a really good. This is one of my favorite missions. He's gonna have this puppy. That's gonna fucking hurt. Jesus Christ. Fort line is rebuilt, so he can definitely survive. I think in my book, I just don't see troops. Where are his armies? Wow. Okay. Unfortunate. I don't know how much he can actually afford to have so many troops in the New World. He should definitely be moving back home for that peace to run out, unless the sign a peace treaty. I think that one attack is going to happen. So this is kind of awkward. This is one of the things that I don't like pushing into this, or from my personal experience, as I said to you guys before, is that it's just, I'm not sure why this isn't stated either. Sus, yeah, I would state this. Sus is nice. You can give this to a trade company. So a lot of like micro mistakes here, I believe, and like I would, even if you don't plan to coordinate, but if you have the open states, why not? Why, you're missing out on 25% autonomy, and those like rebels are coming. If you kind of like, just click on the state, you can raise it. And these provinces, oh my god, okay, now it's a little bit too loud in my book. Oh, I need to play with it. Sorry, guys. So you don't need to put down the rebels, and it's the same autonomy. So it's kind of like a life hack, I guess. Also, this isn't converted and stated, and this should be definitely be a priority. I would do that. Get 100. He could have done that one. Do this. And then there we go. State this, and then put force religious unity, and definitely start converting it now. It's only going to take 13 months, and you already have gold production on it, so not sure why he is waiting for that. And he's ahead of Diptech, so he can definitely convert it, lower the autonomy, and then get this puppy up as well to start generating more gold. Where are trade goods? So he's got gold here. For some reason, this wasn't taken. I think taking all the gold is priority, and converting that should be. So a little bit strange, but whatever. Hopefully he'll do it soon, because that should really help the Spanish economy. Speaking of the Spanish economy, he's making 84 ducats, which is less than the French. Problems with nobility as well. Terrible region of manpower for France and Spain. I have a feeling that both of them haven't been deving properly, because mill rules are fine, and they should be making enough money to afford level 2, level 3 advisor. So, not sure why. So behind on filling out these ideas. Really, 1544. It should be done with the golden age, which was popped. Should have been done by 1538 max. So that's a pretty brutal misplay in my book. Also, why is the autonomy so high? Need to decrease that autonomy. It's too high. Get out of this war, decrease it as well. So, I wonder. And Spain is still not getting stuff from the colonies, huh? Okay, no, they are. So, gold and silver, 120 ducats. So they're getting about 10 ducats a month more. So their income is actually at 80, so at 94, which is pretty damn good. Quality and inflation is still manageable, but I would definitely dev the gold mines to get more ducats out there. If you really want to maximize it, put a damn university on it. This building here, I mean a college, and then put say a college on here as well, and you can, or maybe even put a college on La Mancha, and it's going to give you another 10%, so you can actually dev it up even. You can dev it up even more. You can do it here, 75. Well, not so much, but definitely would do it on a gold mine like 71. With a college and encourage development, it should reduce the cost of deving this by a lot. Anyways, so Spain looking okay. Hopefully his alliance with Tunis will hold. Tunis has troops here, and so maybe they'll hold it. I really don't know how the diplomacy is and what's going on with Portugal, but it'll be interesting to see if they will hold Spain, because I think that France and Venice will deck him, and no diplomacy was reached this session. Tag Portugal. How is Portugal doing? Well, Portugal is getting smashed by the African tribes. So they crusade against Congo, really a crusade. So they have this occupied, and this is unfortunate. They're like blockading it, but I can't tell you it's being very effective. They reached the maximum amount of war score. What? Wow. Holy crap. So the losses are actually for the for the African side, which is very interesting and unexpected. But I mean, Portugal is doing a good job. He's blockading everything. Everything is burning. The devastation is growing. Portugal is doing what damn all nations are doing. Just very unfortunate that this is happening. In cases like this, I would actually pirate this because you're already in active war, and I mean, why not? Take these puppies like this, select, and then you want to privateer Zanzibar. Will actually end up in a loss, but you will give them Gulf of Aden. Privateer here, baby, and you will actually cause devastation to the Ethiopians as well. So that would be a very interesting move. And according to our rules, you have to be in active war to privateer, and since you are, might as well do it. Excellent, Apple. Anyways, as I was saying a little bit earlier, guys, so with Portugal having control of this, unless he actually controls and collects in the Cape, all this doesn't matter what Portugal has because everything from Ivory Coast will go to the British. So unless the Portuguese and the Spanish make a deal with Britain, the only person who's going to be benefiting from Africa, if the trade actually gets pulled from Asia, will be Britain. So there's really no point of going all the way here without actually having a secure location on the Ivory Coast. That's a really huge miss by the Portuguese because their money it's not the highest, and Seville is not making enough money, and there's diplomatic expenses and subsidies to Brazil. So Portugal is really investing a lot of money in Brazil. And I will actually go into the colonial nation, not to forget it. Tag C00. So how is my buddy, dead buddy, JP doing? Well, he's got some loans. He's making a little bit of money, not too much. He's got some gold. I'm actually very surprised to see why it's not dev'd yet. Okay, he's got 2 gold provinces, and they aren't dev'd. I guess he's waiting for next session to do that, but he should be done now because he needs the money now. He can build a lot of production buildings. He can build a lot of religious buildings. Not even that. You don't need churches anymore. And manufacturers definitely at Tech 14. So he's got to save up money for Tech 14. That's going to be his huge boom there. And also Tech 16 when the price does go up. I think for tropical woods the price will go up. But anyways, big army, but a little bit of a lackluster thing, because a big army now in the New World doesn't actually do anything for you. And I hope he's not drilling, and he's drilling. Oh my god, why are you drilling? Why are you drilling? Okay, so New World Nation should not be drilling. You're just wasting so much money. Like, if you lower this, it'll be 8 ducats. I know you're colonizing shit, but like, I don't know, just go like this, and spread out this army here, there, and there. Because your drill, besides discipline, doesn't give you anything. You don't have enough manpower. You need to also be deving manpower, and it's very hard to dev manpower as a colonial nation. So this is, you need to build up your economy, you need to build up your manpower, and then you build up your force limit. So this is a huge misplay by JP. This is not how you play colonial nations, especially if you have no threats. This isn't it. This is a very lackluster. That money could be invested into running a 5th or even a 6th colony instead of drilling. So I don't agree with this at all. Very lackluster. Brazil kind of reminds me of this. You can argue with me on this, but for colonial nations, it's super important to actually build up your production and then build up build up your military, and not drill your troops. Your troops aren't going to do anything. Your troops are paper, because you go expansion, exploration, and quantity. Why would you go quantity? I guess for the policies, but even for the policies, is just. This is a good policy, expansion, exploration, but this policy is worthless. You should not have gone quantity. There are plenty of other military ideas, because I understand this manpower that he has, it's already because of quantity. Plutocratic would have been better. Colonist, global settler increase. Strategic. Like, I don't know. Offensive is good. Let's see. Just quantity is a waste because then you need to drill more troops to get the same professionalism, and then it's just stupid. It's better to drill 12 troops, or 15, be 2 or 3 over limit. You gain professionalism much faster and you spend less money than drilling 27 troops, or 31 troops out of 37. Because how professional drill works, it takes your total amount of force limit, and how many troops you have, and then you'll get the professionalism per month. So this is a mistake. All right, back to Europe. So, not to miss a beat, I will go to Tunis. How is my boy Tunis doing? Tunis, not taking ideas yet. Very good. Gonna take this early. Uh, later. Being behind on middle ideas, it's actually very, very shitty because Tech 12 is a huge one. So he's only going to be available to take it by December 1546, and that's almost 3 year difference, right? So unless he actually gets level 3 advisor, his troops are going to be pretty fucking bad if it comes to war. Because look at that difference. So you get one more pip of morale, but you get 4 new pips. This difference is huge. So this is actually one of the biggest mistakes player can make, and I'm kind of disappointed that he actually did make it. I'm not sure how. He probably filled out morale of navies, which is very important for Tunis, especially if you're not really privateering anything. And so this is a huge mistake that somebody might make him pay for. Doesn't really have the economy. The force limit is kind of low. Ideas are not finished, but they're not the best because again, the Tunisian, the raid coasts. I don't think any of these coasts have been raided, and I would just raid all these coasts, and he hasn't been doing that, and that is just, especially that the Venice took all of this from. You can raid all of this, and even if you hit Spain a little bit, it doesn't matter because you would be making so much money raiding just this coast, and it's even this Spanish coast doesn't matter because look at the autonomy. It doesn't matter. You should raid this and it makes money, and you would hurt Venetian. I guess prosperity as well. Unless I'm missing something. I would also buy a base like this from the Ottomans so it can raid into Venice. I'm not sure how the Ottoman Venetian alliance is. I think it's very, very strong, judging from the diplomacy of this week. So, but I still have my doubts. Nevertheless, I'm not going to go into details of that. Anyways, so Tunis, it's okay, a little bit lackluster because of the Morale of Armies event. Okay, so that's a really huge event. Ottoman diplomacy. Privateering fish. Yeah, I feel this is a little bit of lackluster mistake. I'm not sure what Tunis was doing exactly, but he's integrating that. Did he actually go into Revar? Unfortunate. Does he need to culture shift? I guess so. I guess he needs to culture shift a little bit to form Sokoto and grab their ideas. But yeah, unfortunate that he hasn't been, raiding coastlines. So unfortunate. As he would say, not writers, not podcast favorite for last session. Let's go to Big Balls Planetary. So Venice making money, not the highest amount of money, but still pretty damn good. Diplomatic expenses paying France, harbor fees to the Ottomans, and advisor maintenance. Let's see, in terms of army, 60 out of 74, so not the highest, but he has good manpower recovery. He did go defensive trade equality. However, the Venetian troops are, for majority, just paper. It's good for morale stacking, but other than that, it's at 105 discipline. Morale is at 4.04, so not the lowest, but the kind of discipline hurts because I guess he's trying to form Italy, and he needs these two provinces from France, and he needs to integrate that. So I'm wondering if France will give it to him, because if they are going to go to war against Spain, he really needs these provinces to get the Italian ideas, because besides controlling the seas, these ideas aren't that good He does have the, and he also doesn't have the tech. So this is a, it's not as bad as the Tunisian one, but this is again a mistake. So I don't expect the Venetians to actually go to war for some time because they'll be behind. This is a really huge tech. No, not only do you get 4 more pips if you're a Muslim, or if you are Christian, you get, let's see, 6, 5. So you get 5, 6, 10. So it's a really huge pip jump as well. Right? Is it 6, 4, 10? And this is 5 pips. So you get a 5 pip jump, but also this tech gives you military tactics, which is huge. Yeah, so this was a mistake by Plant the Tree. Subsidies, harbor fees. So he's actually not making that much money. He's minus 17 ducats. Okay, making a lot from trade. Let's see, where is he actually taking this trade from? So he's controlling Genoa. Okay, that's good. And then 48 from Venice. He's not taking it from Austria. Interesting. He's taking 12 from Ragusa and 5 from Alexandria. Not that much, to be honest. Because, oh yeah, because a lot of this trade is stuck in the Gulf of Eden. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. But, you know, stealing 12, this is 12, 5. We're going to say 17 ducats of trade is being stolen from this region. And still no trade cities, which is or was it raided? Was I a mistake? Who is raiding him? This? Tripoli's raiding? Somebody's raiding, but for some reason I don't think it is Tunis, which is stupid. Anywho, so Papal States needs to get integrated, but it's not going to get integrated for a long time. My suggestion here is break vassalization and just conquer this. It's just you're never going to improve it for a very, very long time. That'll be a much better and faster way to do so. States are not properly done either, running good advisors. So for that, from this, if you're running a level 2 advisor, might upgrade to level 3, but I don't suggest you run land maintenance modifier guy at level 3 because that gives you a morale event. So I would run this for defense advisor instead, because you can definitely afford it and you will fill out those ideas much faster. The Venetian fleet is 48 galleys, very strong in the war galley as well. So this is probably the strongest fleet in the Mediterranean. No one can break through into Venice. This is one of the safest places on Earth, definitely. Yeah, so Venice looking good. Congratulations on your victory over Spain. Definitely broke through and got all this lands. So I think personally for Spain, unless they make a deal, he should definitely drop the Spanish-Italy part. Maybe keep these islands, but drop this and give it to Venice, or at least these points, because it's more of a hassle, more of a problem for you than actually land that you can use, because this is a really shitty state that you already lost one province in. This is now your state, and the Ottomans controls this, but yes, it's some dev, and this state as well. So it was already cut up. It's not very good land to have, not very good provinces to core, especially, I mean, to state, especially if you can state things here. I would just get rid of this. This is a problem in my book. So just my 2 cents on the diplomacy of Europe. That some land is just not worth to die for. Going to Austria. Let me check no, nothing. Going to Austria. So how is my boy Austria doing? 77 ducats, 24 inflation. It's going down finally. Got some loans, but this is, again, trade. Yeah, trade is always hard for Austria when you don't control Venice. And then even if you do control Venice, and like, for example, Milan exists, like in our daily game, Speaking of daily games, you guys should definitely join the daily games because I was Austria and I was making money. But if like Milan controls part of this coast, you basically as Austria, you need to make a deal with whoever is the Italian of not to collect money in Venice. Otherwise, you just get wrecked because just controlling Venice and these provinces as Italy is not enough. I guess just controlling this as Austria is not enough. You need to control all of that to make actual money. 13. Also, I guess for if you are emperor, he's not emperor. Okay. Vienna, I really like the changes in the split of Vienna to put a fort there. Vienna is really open to get attacked. There's really no forts here. So that's like a disadvantage for Austria. I think Austria has also too many forts. Good fort. This is a good fort. But I would move this fort to here and then put another fort there. This, I guess, not really necessary. And then put another fort here to really protect the empire and maybe eat more into the empire. Like, there's still miners in the HRE with so many players that haven't been eaten. You just gotta eat them. Go on them. AE is just a number here, and people are for some reason are really worried about it. Just eat the miners if you need. Take the vassals, but yeah. Oh, speaking of which, he's integrating Hungary, which will be done in 55 in 11 years. So that's going to give a really nice boost and more gold, by the way, for Austria. Maybe that collapsed. Should definitely lower the autonomy there to boost production. But overall, looking better than usual. I would lower the autonomy here. And just take the rebels. That's okay. Because you need to lower the autonomy. Autonomy helps you with faster government reforms, gives you more tax, gives you more production, and gives you more force limit and manpower development. I would also, like Croatian, not accept that. I'll accept Bavarian, but, you know, it's just me. So, Austria, oh, yeah, wrong religion also, unfortunate. How are we doing on those missions? Oh yeah, we have the wow, these are really good missions. But he can't pop it anymore because he took, oh boy. Okay. I didn't even look at the missions before. These are really, wow, these are really good missions. Alright. Well, whatever. That's a huge misplay. I'm now looking at her missions. The Austrian missions are excellent. I'm not gonna lie. Huge misplay. The economy, it's really bad for Austria. He's 2 ducats. Manpower is kind of low. I would delete some of these forts. There's like having a fort on grasslands doesn't give you anything. That's a good fort. That fort doesn't give you anything at all. This fort doesn't give you anything at all. This fort doesn't give you anything at all. Like, parts of your, like, putting a fort there is very important. And then taking this should be of a priority. So people need to look at the terrain map mode a little bit more. Eating into this and actually putting forts there. Like, you need a fort. That's why I say moving these forts around, because if you want to be protected from this side of the world, how forts work, you should have a fort here covering this pass, because now we have impassable. A fort here, probably a fort there, or yes, if we put a fort here, we're gonna put a fort there. Then we gotta put a fort somewhere here, right? Right there. And then forts over here as well. So, yeah, this is kind of a mistake. Plus, I deleted all those forts, and all of a sudden, I make, 5 more ducats. 5 more. 5 more ducats a year is 60. For 10 years, that's 600 ducats. So, even in time of peace, maybe if you have really no big rebels, mothball all the forts, and all of a sudden you're making 10 ducats. Maybe keep the important ones on. Let's say keep this one on. We're going to keep this one on, but everything else is secure. So I think a little misplay. Austria is looking nice. Only problem again is that Austria is not getting in trade. He's also getting lucky because Venice is not stealing any of this. But if Venice were to put a merchant here, it will definitely be hurting. He's even pulling trade, but just too much being pulled out. Would anyone actually give him any of the trade? Steer trade, cancel trade. Yeah, no. These guys have to die now, or they're just going to keep pulling way too much trade from you. I'm just not sure what Austria and Prussia are doing here. Anyways, going to Prussia. So, Prussia formed, and I can tell you that Prussia already has the case of the Prussia. So, before we're going to go into this, right? So, as we all know, Prussia actually has been nerfed in our mod. Prussia does have great ideas, but and government, but it has been nerfed. And here, a lot of people, when they form Prussia, they think, oh my god, I am God, so I can do whatever I want and I can dictate my diplomacy. And I'm not going to go into the details that I have of the conversation with the Prussian player, but this is one of the things that a lot of people do is they all of a sudden say like, oh my god, I can do whatever I want, or think whatever I want, or push for what, or demand whatever I want. I can tell you that, for example, Prussia only matters if you finished all of your ideas, because you have 5% discipline at the end. Yes, you have the morale, you have the infantry combat ability, you have the development as well, you have the national manpower modifier, but it only matters if you have all your ideas finished and everything is done. So this Prussia right now has 160% discipline. Could be more if these this was finished. He's also not using church power, which is a huge mistake. But the main thing about Prussia is that you need to be able to make money to actually, for your force limit to do something. Prussia has 298 manpower. After 1 or 2 big battles, you're not going to have any manpower left. It's going to drain everything. Kind of good professionalism, a lot of infantry combat ability, but mostly limited force limit. And for this side of Prussia, it's kind of bad. And could have accepted more culture to get 10% more, like unaccepted culture, like this one. Is local tax modifier minus 15, manpower modifier minus 15, and all of a sudden, your manpower modifier does go up with accepted cultures. He's culture converting everything. How is it built? Not very well built. Production also not very well built. Any manufactories? 1. Manufacturer can build 2. So kind of lackluster. We have Saxony as a vassal, but not being improved for some reason. It is being improved, and that should be done faster because you can steer trade. But as I understand with the current diplomacy, Prussia is going to be both protected by Ruthenia and the Ottomans. I think Ruthenia doesn't want Prussia to fall in the hands of the Ottomans. That's why it's also protecting it, because Ottomans needs Prussia kind of to help with late game, while Ottomans wants Prussia for late game, and Ruthenia doesn't want Prussia to side with the Ottomans. So it's a very delicate situation for Prussia, and I wonder how he has done diplomatically. And I think that treaty was signed not because his diplomacy was excellent, but because it was excellent diplomacy from Great Again and Ruthenia. So we're going to go into that treaty later on. But overall, this is a kind of a lackluster Prussia in general. 40 force limit, no money, because again, Lubeck is stealing everything, but still just lackluster. None of the trade centers are upgraded. But all the coalition wars that have been fought, I can see why it's such in a shitty shape. But yeah, this Prussia really needs some work and love and probably financial support for it actually to be viable. Because right now, I don't think it would even defeat Austria or Burgundy. I think Burgundy would defeat this Prussia, so not the best one. Government reforms. Okay. This is a huge mistake. You choose manpower. Huge mistake. Okay. You, as Prussia, I'm going to give you advice. Take this one, production efficiency, because if you go States General, you lose the Prussian monarchy, and the Prussian monarchy is excellent. So I would also probably disinherit and try for a better heir. But yeah, so the case of the Prussia, not the strongest country in Europe. I'm going to say one of the weakest. Venice is stronger than this Prussia. Venice would defeat it just through sheer economic will. Behind on tech. Yeah, very lackluster. Can it start the Golden Age? I would at this point start the Golden Age just to give you some boost. Not for the military part, but for the point of actually building everything, finishing these ideas, and then developing your country. Yeah, kind of disappointed. So Sweden, I looked at this country during the week, which was very, very good. So I'm not sure how the Swedish-Prussian diplomacy is. It's not very good, but if it's not very good, I would demand unlawful territory. It does hurt Prussia, and I'm actually interested to see what will happen, because I know so far this week Ottomans and Sweden did not have good diplomacy, because Sweden did not want to betray Ruthenia as the Ottomans wanted, according to multiple sources. So according to Sweden and Ruthenia themselves. So Ottomans and Sweden have been in a bad diplomacy all week, and Sweden wants to expand into Prussia. Prussia wants to expand into Sweden because, why not? It's Prussia. Instead of actually finishing off these miners, Prussia wants to push into Sweden. So Ottomans guaranteed the Prussians in the face of Sweden, and Ruthenia had to do it because they signed the non-aggression pact. So Sweden is actually making a lot of money. This is a very good country. He is building quite well. I would build more workshops and probably save money for this, because the price of fur will go up. But a lot of it needs to be developed more. You should, like, for example, if you build the workshop here and workshops here, when the price of fur does go up, building a manufacturing there will be very, very good. Second of all, for Sweden, Novgorod being in March was a huge mistake and a huge blunder, because Sweden does it have states? Shit, where do I look at states? Oh, okay. So it does have states, but a lot of Swedish states are like this and like that. Really, really worthless. So you can definitely unstate this, and in Novgorod, state something else. Like this would have been a good state. This would have been a better state. This would have been a better state, and this would have been an amazing state. Marching Novgorod was definitely a mistake. I'm not sure what the relationship is between Uzbek and Sweden. I think Uzbek wants to form Russia, but in my eyes, Marching Sweden was not great, and would have been much better in your hands. Also, super interesting for Sweden is that Sweden is going for orthodoxy, so he's going to be orthodox pretty soon. He just made a mistake somewhere. Nice discipline, one of the highest in the game. Oh, he's running the visor, but not that much professionalism. But still, very, very good. Sweden is strong. Can add more land to HRE, but what's the point? All right, but also if you add this land to the HRE and a little bit of this or whatever, you could actually pass another reform as the emperor, which would be nice. Sweden ideas. He went quantity, quality, industrial, which also means that he can have a huge fucking force limit. Where's the force limit going to be? Mil 500. Oh yeah, 120. That's gonna be a huge, and all these policies, that's going to be a huge force limit for Sweden. And the worst thing is, for everyone around him, is he can field it. So Sweden is a very, very strong country, and I have no idea how Prussia thought he would attack Sweden this session. His force limit economy is 2.5 times bigger, and force limit is 4 times bigger. My dog is upside down on the floor, rolling. Interesting. So Sweden is in a very good position. I would maybe unmarch Novgorod and try to start annexing him in 10 years. Yeah, this is good land to have for Sweden. When you get more states, tag Lithuania, tag Ukraine. Ukraine-wise, still in debt, but less. Pretty good economy, not the best, but pretty good. Making a lot of money from trade. A lot of flowing out of Novgorod, so they're sharing this with Sweden, not too much, but what? We earn? Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. So he is collecting here and has these as end nodes. Interesting move. Solo Rizan pushing all this trade up, and Ottomans are hurting, so there needs to be some sort of a merchant there. But this is an interesting move. As Sweden, what I would do is Muscovy and Kazan need to go. But some of the states, you can release an OPM that is going to be friendly with you. Say in the Astrakhan region, just one OPM, and ask them to steer trade for you. And they are going to send this trade right over here into Crimea, which will go into Kiev. So, voila. Yeah, everything is doing good. And the piece they're going to have this session, I would even ask Ruthenia to drill. I would turn all of this off, turn off the drill. If there really is going to be peace, I really think from the diplomacy that's being signed right now, there will be peace. And put the maintenance to 0 and just go ham on building and manufacturing. You can build just so much, that everything is missing. Many factories can be built that are still not built. You can build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mini factories, and then build these 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then save money for 14, 15, right? 15. Build this and then just dev them as well. So this should be a very peaceful session for deving and such. Like this can be completely devved. So a lot of different opportunities which should not be spent on drilling your army. at this point, and using the H bonus to actually build your country. Everything is kind of really nice because you can use the construction bonus, which he is, and he didn't go econ ideas, diplomacy. So this is one of those things. So when you go diplomacy ideas for policies, so you have these great, amazing policies of fire damage reduction and shock damage received, and then monarchy diplo skill. It's a good one, but the problem with that is that when diplomacy or groups like that in peacetime are kind of absolutely worthless, because what are you going to do with diplomacy? If this was like, for example, economic or industrial, you could have definitely done something with those ideas in peacetime, like industrial production efficiency, manpower, land maintenance modifier, goods produced modifier, domestic trade power modifier, and then just other things. So this is why I always say people shouldn't take idea groups just for the point of policies. You should do it for the 90% of the time. So if Ruthenia doesn't actually fight at all this session, like diplomatic ideas aren't very useful. Like -3% is nothing. So I really don't agree with the diplomatic idea move. I mean, this is nice, but other than that, kind of worthless. In my book, at least for my build, I would have done it. I would have done something a little bit different. So, but Ruthenia is looking nice. He's making money. Just use the session to build up because he can definitely outscale a lot of people. Newer is a very good player, and he can outscale everyone by. He just has a lot of farmlands that he can build and develop. I guess that's not his, but a lot of farmlands that he isn't really using correctly. Also, no colleges built anywhere, and that's also a mistake that a lot of Europeans are doing. No one is using colleges besides like someone. I was looking at it earlier in the week, and colleges help. First of all, if you build a college, doesn't take a building slot. It helps the local development cost -10. Institution spread +10%, which is also very, very useful. But besides that, when you do build the university, it will be cheaper to do so. So it's not just a useless build in comparison to university. But if you have money or areas to develop, definitely build colleges. Really, really useful building. And I'll go into details of why. Tag. I think I got everyone, right? Uzbek and then Ottomans. Tag. Uzbek. Tag. It's like a shy Churion. So Uzbek in general are surviving just on subsidies from the Ottomans. Wonder why Ottomans are giving Uzbek money because they're allies. That's very strange. So some things that I did talk to Uzbek earlier on, like him taking a vassal of Yarkand is shit because there's an extra gold mine here, which is already his core. Can you annex it? Yeah, he should be annexing this right now, and my computer is going to lag because I lag every time I click on annexing, and it sucks. Maybe I need to reinstall my EU4, but that happens every single time. But yeah, this is as a horde, having these vassals is silly, and definitely shouldn't be done. Unfortunate. So Uzbek had a hard time, but has more ideas filled out than Prussia. Pretty funny. Wait. Probably should flip to. By the way, should flip to Orthodox. Just a much better religion than Sunni. Hanafi, yeah, definitely should flip to another. But I don't know how much he can afford it because he's just so behind on everything. But overall, he needs to do something this session, or Uzbek does become kind of worthless. He needs to kill Oirat. He needs to integrate or eat up Yarkand after freeing them. At this point, I would just free them, take Yarkon himself, because he does have a lot of cores. One core, I lied to you guys. And then just raise the rest of the provinces if needed be. I don't know, because Uzbek with the finished quantity has less force limit than many other countries, so he's not in the best position. His troops are still kind of strong, but for example, like Kazan, it's a march of Uzbek. At this point, revoke march, and then break them, and then just take all this land for yourself. Same with Perm, finish up Muscovy, Bello Zero, and all that. I think he can declare pretty soon, but a lot of mistakes. You should not be taking vassals as a horde. So a really big misplay. This is what people should practice in single player. Things you're gonna do or things you could do to figure out what's wrong with your country. Going to Ottomans. So Ottomans is right now one of their richest and also the biggest force limit, and almost the same manpower recovery as Ruthenia. So very nicely done, saving up his tech endpoints. So great job on that. So running level 3 advisors, discipline advisor. The discipline advisor does mean that the Ottomans is preparing to go to war against somebody. He's allied to Austria, but he is not allied to Venice. He's allied to Ethiopia in order to protect Ethiopia from other players, so that's a good move. Austria and him are also allied, but I'm actually really wondering what they are planning to do this session, because he is waiting for the level 3 10% discipline event to fire so he can do some more, and that will put him at 128 discipline, which will be the highest in the game, or actually with potential highest in the game. He will actually be the only person that has the same discipline that him, or could have the same discipline as him, as Mewar. At this point, maybe even VG, but we need to look at it. But right now, yeah. So if he actually gets the spawn, the event spawn, he can have 128. So this is really, really nice. Not collecting on corruption. Prestige is going down. Let's see how overall the Ottomans are built. Production, okay, definitely good. Could build a little bit more. Churches, really nicely done. So this is a really nice change from last season. And manufactories, this is a really good cost for the manufactory. He can't build too many, but he does have a lot. But if he saves up money, right, he can build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 good ones later on, when it will be available to him. He's also, what is this building? Yeah, he's building more manufactories, so that's really nice. Yeah, so good job for building up your country. In terms of, oh man, that's just leaking. In terms of, he's got a road network as well, very interesting. Let's see how the road network looks. Oh, just one, okay. Never mind, I thought it would be more. Trade, can build a little bit more trade buildings as well to lock down the trade, but also probably, this sucks. Oh, it's different regions. Okay, so in vanilla, this is part of the Constantinople node, but it was moved. So getting probably a world port here will be very, very nice for him. Maybe upgrading this one, also good. You can actually spawn stuff on here because this is get a level 3, encourage development, put a university on that. Speaking of universities, no universities. You can put a university on that, and that will definitely make it a cool place to develop an institution or just develop manpower. So, but other than that, Ottomans looking very strong. We're going to see where the Ottomans are going to go next session. because he is trying to spawn that 3. Where? True positionings here. He is trying to spawn the disciplined event. So we'll see where he goes. Also, very nice fort placement. Fort. This is the only weakness, but I mean, there's nothing here. But still, the only place I would put a fort is like right here. I guess it doesn't matter. This one, fort is missing is here. But other than that, this is a fantastic fort placement. Good job, great again. Definitely prepared for any war that might come. Split his empire or not. So very well protected. So next step is just having enough money to upgrading it to level 3 forts when those come out. So Ottomans looking really, really thick, and I'm excited to see where he's gonna go. My only advice here again is to kill the this guy because he is steering trade. He has 3 merchants, and the merchants are steering trade. Like for example, even those 10 ducats, why? I mean, 0.10 ducats is steering, and this is a nice steer, or maybe attack him and ask him to steer trade for you because those are 3, and that'll be in a much better and sexier move to do than actually killing him. But just having these miners here and them not steering trade is a huge mistake by the Ottomans. So Ethiopia. Ethiopia still hasn't embraced the Renaissance. I mean, it's still institution. It's a lot of ducats, but you should have done that because he took all these 10, 10, 10 with tech penalties, and it's just not worth it. Just take those loans. I don't know, like 3 loans, okay? And then, Michael. Stop. Take those loans. This is completely unused. And because, okay, 4 loans. Take this, embrace it, and all of a sudden, you can take several institutions at the same time, and your income will go up because you're going to get the ahead of time modifiers on the production and trade. So it's going to help you repay those loans. It's just not worth it waiting for that to spread because you're not even using the edicts to spread them all. So this is just completely misplayed by Ethiopia, not in the best position. Also, he has this vassal by just, but they are angry. Why are they angry? Interesting. I don't know, maybe gift, like send a gift or something like that. I don't know. Just to get them to like you, get them a royal marriage and take their trade power. It's glitched, so I can't show you. But having disloyal vassals is a mistake. Send it like this. For example, the guy doesn't have enough money to embrace institutions, so what is he doing during the war? Yes, of course, he's fucking drilling the troops. Amazing work. Great. Very good way to spend money. There you go. You could be making 34 ducats, and 30. 38 ducats times 12 months times 10 years is like 4,000 ducats, and you know how much you need to embrace 1,300. So instead of drilling for 10 years, you could be, I don't know, embracing institutions and making more money and investing more. Also going through the gold. Gold is not devved. Why? Could have devved it. This could have burnt it, build up a little bit of more on the dev on the gold province. Like just so many so many little mistakes. Put a college on that gold mine. Even though if it's going to give you inflation, it's great because you can have fucking economic ideas. It gives you inflation reduction. So people are really underusing the gold mines that they have, and I'm not sure why. Gold is king early on. Inflation is just a number until it gets ridiculous. But a lot of countries, such Austria, Myanmar, and Miao, just survive on gold, and you're not using it properly. RZW. Wow, this is turning out to be a really long podcast. Holy shit, we are already hour 25 into this, and still in Africa. I thought it was going to be a couple. So, Batua is actually dying to his gold mine collapsed. And gold mine didn't collapse. So that's very unfortunate. So he needs to spend diplomatic power to actually lift it. The inflation is huge, but it's falling down a lot. At this point, I don't know, just like reduce it a little bit. Running the advisors to reduce it, I would just kill this guy. It's not worth it having the chance of actually him sitting on the throne. Can ask for money. Give nobility some land so you don't suffer the huge penalties. Another gold mine. Wow, the autonomy is ludicrous. 40 autonomy. The autonomy is very, very high. Yeah, this country needs some loving. Like Sunni? What religion is he? Fetishist. Why is he fetishist? Okay. I would go Sunni. So, interesting. Not the strongest nation, but Congo Batua, Ethiopia can do something, but I'm not sure what they can do. For example, if Spain attacks, they can definitely put up a fight because their pips are still very strong. But for example, if Ottomans attacks, even their allied, or Mughals attacks, or Nawar attacks, they can't do much. They're still, if you look at their losses, they lost more to fucking Portugal. They lost a lot of troops to Portugal, and they lost like almost 30k more to Portugal. So that's just very shameful for the Africans. Underperformance. But it's still cool that they're fighting and they do exist. So Congo is in a huge debt spiral of debt. I'm not sure why or how, what is going on there. He's not making money from anything. Okay, he's only running one advisor. Yeah, I mean, Ethiopia isn't saving Congo or Batua. So, oh boy, I'm not sure how long this African alliance is going to hold, especially after this save or this podcast, because this is a really horrendous performance on them. Quantity, expansion, okay, behind on ideas at least. Okay, this is really huge behind. You should take this idea when you get the -5 bonus from Portugal. But why doesn't he have the -5? Oh, because it's occupied. Okay. I would just 11. I'm not. Yeah, Congo's not looking too healthy. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, anything is possible. Oh, he's losing these troops when even it's at low maintenance. Why? What is going on with him? Holy shit. Wow. Interest. Yeah, the interest is killing him. He's in a death spiral unless somebody pays it off, but I don't see Congo and Batua actually surviving in the long run. It will be excellent land for Britain or Castile, or to come in and expand to, or at least for Britain to expand to, because gold trade. So a little bit underwhelming performance by all three Africans, or actually all four Africans: Tunis, Ethiopia, Congo, and Batua. Underperforming in my book. Lackluster. Alright, going to the Mughals. So, the Mughals. Amazing fourth line. Conversions are going. Forts, good forts everywhere besides capital next to Mawar. Hilarious. Uh, uh, Barracks are being built. Uh, Policies aren't being used for some reason. This policy will actually um, save you like 1 or 2 mana per. Like this is it's gonna lower it to 20, or it did lower it all from 27 to 24, I think. So kind of a little mistake, but these little mistakes add up to a very huge snowball effect. Hold on a second. My love, where's my phone? Yeah. So, wow, huge manpower deficit by the Mughals. Not the best formation, but he is making a lot of ducats and definitely can retire. Regenerate everything. Probably even build a little bit of mercs, so you save on the manpower pool going up. But he's already ahead of Diptech, behind of Miltech, and it's kind of dangerous, especially with the Ottomans right there and then, who can actually go attack him. But they did sign that peace treaty right now, so probably not going to get attacked. But there would have been a perfect time to attack the Mughals, because he's just so behind in military tech. We'll only get it July 1545, so you have like this huge initiative on them, because the difference again, it's as we saw, it's huge. If we look at Tech 9, we have 5, 7, right? 5, 7 pips. And here we have 7. Yep, 4 pip difference, and plus you get more fire pips and defense pips. So Indian troops are actually quite good. To be honest, they have 3 fucking morale damage. This is huge. Like, Indian troops are super good. Where? Turk. What are the Turkish troops? Okay, so pretty good at doing damage. So Mughals overall made several mistakes. Like, for example, this is one thing that we did talk about with him during the week, is that, for example, he is converting Ardalan province. It's this one, which is good. And then where is the other conversion? So buildings, and then Khiva. Like, for example, Khiva is getting converted, right? It's a 1.84 wool. So what being wrong religion does is that local goods produce modifier goes by down by minus 20.7%. So right now, because it's wrong religion, it's by itself, giving you a smaller production base, right? But what if you found another province which is a wrong, there you go, 4.37, and it also has a minus 20%. And actually, if you actually convert this province, in the long run, you'll be making more money. Putting an edict on it also helps you convert faster. And when you convert this, you can, and then dev it up to 10, you can put a very good, probably manufacturing on it, right? Yep. Once that's converted, that's gonna. Once that is converted, or is it? Can we do it? Maybe not. I think the manufacturing is gonna be done later on. Oh yeah, that's at Tech 16. That's gonna be fucking huge manufacturing done. Or even, for example, same thing here. putting a manufactory on this province. Oh, he already has it. Does he actually have a production center? Yes, he does. So this is done correctly. But again, even though he put a manufactory there, it's producing 20% less because it's wrong religion. So like, what's the point of actually converting this province if you should be converting this one because you already have a manufactory on it, right? So I think it's a little bit of misplay. It's like a little minor one, but if you really want to improve your micro game and min maxing, this is definitely the way to do it. So watch out for that. Things like that, for example, probably lowering some of the forts, like here, keeping this is, I don't know, like lowering this fort and these forts, right? So all the forts that don't border your enemies, you should lower them because overall, and just watch for the rebellions yourself, because you could be making money. I mean, overall, the Mughals are really strong. They do have really a lot of discipline, and because they're really strict, so he can run a disciplined advisor as well, and he can change religions in 64 or wait for his ruler to die, and you can change it if you really want. But overall, this is advisor cost. Yeah, this is a really nice king and discipline and advisor cost reduction. Huge. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Going big. At this point, I don't know if I would even be drilling troops again. I mean, he does probably have constant rebellions, but if you watch them really nicely and you do suppression, like where does Khiva, and the reason why they're being rebellious is because he's converting, isn't it? Intolerance, overextension, legitimacy is low. Okay, but what if I like put him on Khiva? Yeah, it's gonna reduce it, and once they get there and start suppressing the rebels, this is gonna go down. They're not gonna explode. So it's better to actually use your armies to probably even sending only half of your troops to this and having them suppress the rebels, and you can just do it throughout your empire, because you really don't want to fight 27k, right? You might just send 6k troops to suppress this. It's going to go down by -4, so it's going to disappear. So that's actually a really good thing to do, and just not have them pop. And if they don't pop, you don't spend manpower, you don't spend ducats, and you can be on minimal maintenance and making 94 ducats. So, okay, let's say 90 ducats, which will be very good for the Mughals, because he does have a lot of things to build, but he already built a lot, right? So he already built a lot. One thing that he hasn't done yet is built any of the colleges, because he could be def pushing some things, nor he can also build a little bit more of manufactories, and giving more stuff to Vaishas, such as land as this, for example, to really counter the -20 modifier of these provinces. Anyways, so Mughals looking good. So before we go to Mewar, we're going to go to Vijay, because we were earlier on in the podcast, we were talking about the discipline and the amount of discipline that one can have. Does he actually have it? No. Wait. Yes, he does. So there are two countries that can have the most discipline right now in the game. It is Vijay and Mewar, because Vijay gets not only Child of Surya, nice job, not only does he get discipline in the ideas, discipline in their religion. If we wait, oh my God, Surya, no Ganesha. Oh my God, no Ganga. Oh boy, I forgot which one is which. 1 second. Mm. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot. So again, even I need to look stuff up, right? Uh, it is going to be Shakti. Uh, Shakti, second Shakti, and then getting an advisor here would actually, and then finishing the ideas would actually put him on a lot of discipline. But Vigi is a little bit behind on ideas. Again, I think too many forts. Again, drilling when there's absolutely no point, and uh, you should be saving up your money to run better advisors if you're behind. Definitely be saving up money if you're behind, especially with your architect, which he does have. And if next time with another religion, I mean, if he runs Ganga gives a -10 construction cost, and economic gives you -10 construction cost, you can poop out the buildings really fast. So this is definitely a misplay of drilling those troops, and it's a misplay that most people make, sadly. So VG should be a little bit more built. He does have the manufactories, but because he can build a lot. Holy shit! On Tech 16, Tech 14, he can build a lot of manufactories, but a lot of stuff he can't build because these provinces are not dev'd enough. Like for example, let's go manufacturing here, like Bidar. This is a good one. Like as an example, like if we destroy the temple and we put a manufactory there, 55 ducats. So all these yellows, this is a good one. Okay, this is Tech 16 manufacturing. This is a good manufacturing to build. Wait, a road network? Did I see the road network? I would delete the road network. And when you have the money, put a manufactory there. Road network is not the right one because the road network adds +1 to buildings. I mean, let's just give an example. If you don't dev this to 20, destroy the temple, and put 51 ducats. I mean, 50.5 ducats. So, definitely a lot of things to build. But overall, looking not too bad. Just behind on tech, but that could be easily fixed by filling out the ideas completely. So, but yeah, in India you should never be this far behind, especially with all your neighbors right next to you. I would also take this idea, get the 20% on the production bonus, get another 20%, and maybe start integrating this vassal. Oh, he's already great. Yeah, so this will be a very good move for him to do. So Vijayanagar expanding into Bengal and expanding into Asia will be a very, very strong country, especially with the national ideas that Vijayanagar has of discipline, prestige, global trade power, and infantry combat ability, and just government reforms in general. Like, just Vijayanagar is an amazingly strong country. The only thing it's missing is morale. That's why the player went defensive. Definitely looking like a potentially strong country. Mewar. So now going into Mewar. So this country is played by me. As you see, this son of a bitch is drilling. What is he doing? Well, this son of a bitch is actually at force limit, and actually one above the force limit. Forts are up because, but you were saying, Alex, or you were saying, Daddy, why are you doing that? Why you're drilling if you could be building stuff? Well, that's a very good question. my friends? Well, if we look at technology, I'm actually only behind in diplomacy because I was developing some things. Middle tech I can take next month. I can also do this one, but I'm going to wait for this to tick to -5. Um, but overall, you are making 138 ducats, 10 from gold, 37 from trade, 54 from production, and taxation is also very, very high. And the amount of manufactories are, I think I have the most manufactories built in game, and they are very, very good manufactories. As you see, I have some manufactories missing as well. Nobody's perfect, but the reason why I am drilling is because I want to get my professionalism up as much as I can, and these manufacturers can't wait because I am developing, I'm deving some things, some other things, but I will dev this later on. Once I build a college, I will build a college on here, and I'll be able to dev push this a lot cheaper. So let me actually see. So I need to build, so here, and here and there. Let's see what I missed. Paper, okay, that's a big one. It's a good one. Okay. I mean, not too bad, really. Textile manufacturing is done. Gotta lower the autonomy a little bit, but overall, Mewara looking very strong. This is, I'm very happy for it. I can actually, just in case, I can change my deity in case I am running a level 3 device with the inflation one, because then I can upgrade it, but I get the inflation down. And good air, I can actually, I will upgrade this one to a 666. I will get it soon in 7 years. I hope it doesn't die, please. But in the meantime, just developing, growing. A lot of potential for Mewar, stuff to eat still into Bengal, finish eating here. But it really, Mewar is in a very strong position. One of the strongest in India and Asia. The potential is the potential is very, very big, because I have 118 discipline without running the advisor or taking the Hindu. Yeah, so it could be at 128 discipline, but also manpower is at 923 per month. It's one of the highest in Asia, and the reason why it's actually almost the same as the Mughals, and the reason why it's, say, for example, behind Ottomans is because Indians, one of their negatives is they do not have this modifier right over here, manpower recovery of 20%. So that's why most of the time Indian, even though yes they have great heirs, they have great other estates, they do not have the amazing modifiers that Europeans have of -10 development for all states, for everything, and also manpower recovery speed, which actually hurts the Indians quite a lot, believe it or not. Like, for example, tag Mewar. Just to show you guys, if we go to, say, we'll drop this idea, and we're going to take quantity, mil. Oh, I already have it, I guess. This goes up to 1,300. So I'm actually, if I had this manpower recovery of 20%, I would have been on par with the Ottomans and Ruthenia. And Ruthenia does have orthodoxy, so they get actually another modifier for manpower. So, and also, as you guys see, where are my cultures? Cultures, Marathi is all converted, except to cultures, main culture, so very, very stable land, and this will be converted when I have more Diplo power. One thing, as I did on Mewar, which most people don't do in India, a lot of your government reforms are attached to the primary culture as you have. If you open your government reforms, or you different estate group, pretty much. Right here, you won't have the Marathas, but because I changed it to Marathi, I have the Marathas estate, which also gives me this Marathas council. This is 5% discipline. It's not as good as the Vijayanagar one, which also gives a -5% development cost and plus 10% infantry combat ability, but nevertheless, it's pretty good. I also got myself, I'm a plutocracy, so I got myself an extra merchant. So Mewar is looking in really good shape. Really strong generals. One of the reasons I do love Mewar is right here, Army Tradition is dropping by 0.56 right now, but it actually, something is wrong with this one. It actually should be, oh yes, the reason why it is dropping is because I dropped quality ideas. Let's see, mil 900, and so it's like a little, there you go, it's like little Prussia. It's growing up, going up. So not pretty good morale. One of the biggest in all of the countries that are around me, so it's not as good as France, of course, but it's still nevertheless pretty damn good. Mewar. Bengal dead. We have Sheng Miao, Tondo, Japan. So we're going to start with tag TDO. Hour 51. All right. So Tondo has some ideas to take. Still, how we doing on religion? Hindu. He is Hindu. Which ideas grouped? He is making money, which is good. He has a little inflation problem because of that, but inflation is just a number, so it's okay. Oh, decisions. Who should he rival? Ethiopia for sure. The other one, he should decide on who. But this actually, inflation's getting a little bit out of hand. So he's got to start running inflation guy modifier and getting it down just by a little bit because this is getting really high. Okay, Grand Captain. I mean, for Tondo looking pretty good, but I think a little bit slow. A lot of corruption. I guess he changed something. But he should be colonizing a little bit faster in my book. Okay, he's here. He has good amount of heavies, pretty good. So little mistakes here and there. He's going naval ideas. Hasn't finished quality yet. He needs this morale. He needs this. Okay, so he just needs to form. Can he actually form Malaya? I guess he needs to take this and then, yeah, and then he can form it, but he needs to form Malaya just for the ideas, the claims, and everything. But yeah, looking pretty good. He should definitely speed up because he might be in a little trouble if England, or I guess only at this point if England comes knocking. Rustin with his fucking 666 and 666. Daddy lick my balls, Surya Vancha. Great. Yeah. So Rustin doing amazing work. One thing I did forgot to talk about is that Rustin, even though he's not the biggest country, if we look at colleges, he has colleges. If we look at Mewar, also for deving purposes, Mewar does have colleges. It's actually probably one of the few countries that use colleges and no one else does. And colleges are really, really nice for min-maxing and using your mana most efficiently. So, nice. Okay, he can take this now. Still no bonus there, so he doesn't need to take it. Looking good. I mean, for a small country, this is really, really nice. Again, not paying for his troops. Not drilling. There you go, guys. See? Top player right here, not drilling. Why? Because he's taking all this money and he is building manufactories, building more colleges, building stuff. So, the dream, boys, right here. This is how you learn. And then he can be building. Can he build more manufactories? Yeah, he can. That's why he needs to develop these provinces, and then he can definitely build the manufactories. Why? Oh, yeah, 52. He can definitely build a lot of manufactories still. Nah, not always the best manufactories, but okay. Yeah, not the best goods, but he can still build some, and eventually they're gonna start paying for themselves. So that's gonna be really, really nice for him. So Reston is doing fairly well, so I'm not gonna cover him too much. Tag TMI. So for Meow, very interesting play here. We actually had a little conversation when this guy made a snake all the way to India and into Delhi, and actually we had to guarantee him, Mughals and Vijayanagar had to guarantee Delhi, and then he made him a tributary state. Very interesting move. I'm not really sure why he's trying to snake into that. Maybe he tried to go into India and grab this land and thought it was a good idea. I'm not sure all the details, but I don't think he realized how strong Mewar and Vijayanagar were in comparison to him. 18 inflation, making 63 ducats, so 2.5 times less than Mewar and half of what Vijayanagar is making. Force limit is the same as Mewar, but in terms of discipline, 100 versus 118, and lower level of morale. Can't even. I don't know if you can even pay for this entire army. What was the purpose of this? I guess the purpose could have been to show us, the viewers of a podcast, how strong this country is. But I have doubts it can even support this army. No accepted cultures. Yeah. Nice work. I mean, it's not that much, but like these just cultures are not accepted, and if you accept them, they just start making you more money. The 15% manpower, 15% tax really helps. Or maybe even accepting these cultures or culture converting them later on. I don't know, but this is a mistake. Also paying for forts. He wasn't paying for troops. But government reforms, good. Could have accepted more cultures, I think, in my book, but you know. And then 246, 614. So good heirs can definitely do some stuff. Not done. Missions not quite fulfilled. Offensive idea is still not finished. So he's gonna have morale. He has 20 morale, and it's still so low. And then infantry combat ability. So it's gonna be a strong country, but not as strong as he thinks he is, I think. So, and this coast isn't raided either. So Tondo is not using his full potential of actually raiding the Chinese. Yeah, strange. But this fort is worthless. But good fort, good line there. Where's the gold province? Yeah. So overall, besides the snake looking okayish, just needs to really focus on buildings. Religious buildings built. Production wise, can build out more. Да?
Еще показали?
5 minut. Я заканчиваю. And then the manufactories are not a single manufactory built here. So yeah, it's not looking very good in the long run for Meow unless he really catches up. So Meow is actually really behind Tag Qing. So Qing is still running the Golden Age. Churches still unbuilt, but that's okay. Production's pretty built. You can build a little bit more, especially on paper, on naval supplies. And then manufactories, really needs the ducat for manufactories. Again, Felspide doing a good job for not drilling, really saving the money and investing into the future, not paying for the forts, as you see players don't, and then has enough for Miltech. Yeah, overall looking good. So I'm not sure why this still exists, but he also did a dick move and cut off, I guess, Uzbek, so they can take this land. But overall, this land is good to build force limit buildings on. So, yeah. Tag Japan. Tag Jap. So, how is Japan doing? Well, Japan, first of all, pretty much caught up with tech, which is nice. He did go innovative in Noble Academia to do so, but nevertheless, he did it. So, I'm not going to go much into Japan. It's not a very built-out country. It's not a very developed country, but it's okay on tech. So probably maybe doing some wars into Zaixi, Yeren, Donghai, and Mongolia, and all those areas for ducats, and I'm using those ducats to build because he's maxed out on manpower. And you can land troops somewhere here and do wars against Zaixi and other people through fabricating claims would definitely be worth it because you can farm them for ducats, which Japan really, really needs. So overall, Miao, Japan are the weakest of the Chinese Asians. Vijayanagar is behind. Mewar and Mughals are pretty strong. Ottoman. So right now, these three countries are probably some of the strongest military countries in the world right now. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for. I think I didn't forget GBR. I don't think I forgot anyone. I hadn't covered Congo, Venice. Yeah, looks pretty solid. I covered everyone 2 hours, guys. 2 fucking hours. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. So it's going to be an interesting session overall. Next session, a lot of wars. I think a lot of diplomacies, a lot of tactical moves. And one of the things that I want to remind every single one of you is that EU4 is a grand strategy game, or at least it tries to be. But a lot of players are not being very strategical, being not very forthcoming of a strategist, and not really planning ahead, planning the next move, planning the next 3 moves, right? And in games like this, you really need to do just that, and that's the problem that people don't do. As I recently read, and I'm reading a fantastic book, there's one quote that I want to use, and it is: grand strategy is the apex of rationality, right? And a lot of people say, oh, you're taking it too seriously and things like that. Maybe people do take it too seriously. Maybe they min-max, stuff like that. But usually people who min-max are the ones that are looking past the next 10, 15, 20 years. They're looking into the future and seeing potential there as well. So if anything from this podcast, guys, this game, it takes 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, and you need to not only be looking at what I can do this session, but what are my actions, the actions that I take today, how will they affect my country and my nations in 10, 15 years. Or as I and Dennis were talking about this a little bit early on, there was a good thing to live by in this game, is that the question you should be asking yourself every time you make a move, every time you make an investment, every time you have some sort of resources. All your resources in this game are limited. Money is limited, manpower is limited, space is limited, states are limited, mana are limited, everything is limited. And once you start treating everything as limited resources, you will find efficiency. And another quote for you guys is that one of my quotes is that since my you need to ask the question, and the question is this: since my resources are limited and scarce, is this the most efficient way to use them and to allocate them, right? And this is the question you do need to ask yourself. And once you start not only asking yourself this question by living by and playing by this question, you will become a much better player and a much better allocator of resources in real life because resources are limited.